Good morning. It's Monday, February 5th. Here's what we're working on this morning. A deadly crash has closed off a large section of downtown Hamilton.
The sexual assault case against 5 former World Junior Hockey players, that begins today in London.
And despite all the hype, Apple's big budget Argyle doesn't do so great at the box office.
Espionage.
Hello there. Here it is, Monday already. We're back with our friends.
Wasn't that the best weekend ever?
Lovely.
It was lovely. Those groundhogs knew what they were talking about. That felt like spring this weekend, didn't it?
It was absolutely glorious. Both days on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
The sun?
Yesterday we got to 5 degrees. I mean, you could just stand in the sun and go, thank you. It was just so delicious.
Well, here's the thing. We went skiing on Saturday, and it was still cool enough in the morning that it was the snow is all fake, but still it's cold enough where you can still go skiing. By the afternoon, things start to get a little bit mushy. So.
Yeah. I mean, I was down by Spencer Smith Park on Saturday, and there was people all over just enjoying the sunshine. It was just absolutely glorious. And we're going to have a little bit more sunshine for today. Okay. Maybe not clear blue skies. We'll have a little bit of cloud. I mean, we've got some cloud cover right now, but the skies will generally clear as the morning goes on. And we should hit 3 degrees for the day today. So a little shy of yesterday and Saturday, but still a lovely day for this time of year. We're sitting at -2 at the moment. Bit of a wind chill, -7 is what it feels like with that northerly flow we have at the moment, but we'll talk about the forecast coming up. Right now, I'll look at traffic. And traffic, no problems on the highways at the moment. 403 Waterdown Road, that looks fine right now. We have that big problem in downtown Hamilton with that collision at Main and James, where that's blocked off. Simone will have details on that coming up. Looking at our MTO traffic cameras, here's the Red Hill Creek camera. We'll start with a good shot of what's going on coming out of Stony Creek toward the Skyway. We'll check the top of the Skyway. Nothing there. Into Burlington, Oakville corridor looks good at the moment. So we'll give you details on weather and traffic, of course, coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, we have more on that early morning deadly crash in Hamilton's downtown core at Main and James. That's where Simone Gavros is this morning with more details. Simone?
Hi, good morning, Annette. Well, yes, I'm here near James Street South and Main Street. That's where that fatal collision happened here early this morning. Police say that there were 2 vehicles involved in this collision that happened just after 1:30 this morning, and you can still see one of the cars that are still on scene here that looks very badly damaged. Now, police are here on scene assessing the collision that happened this morning, and that car is just right up against the Hamilton Club. Now, one of the people in the vehicles did die as a result of this collision. Police weren't able to confirm whether it was a driver or passenger at this time, and it's unclear exactly what caused this collision. Now, Main Street here between Bay and James is going to be closed for the majority of the morning as police continue to assess what happened here this morning. We're going to be speaking with police later this hour for more details as to what exactly happened here around 1:30. But for now, Tim, I'll send things over to you.
All right, thanks, Simone. Well, a Dundas family is recovering from a home invasion over the weekend. Vehicles in the driveway were broken into. CHCH News spoke to the family who did not want to go on camera. So early Saturday, their security camera caught a pickup truck driving by the house 6 times. 4 men stormed into the house, tied up the family's 2 adult children, and held guns to their heads. Then they trashed the upstairs looking for things to steal and took off with an Audi and a Porsche.
Certainly targeted for the vehicles. We know that the suspects came up and they were dressed identically. They were in dark clothing, dark hoodies, matching gloves, and balaclavas. We have a description of early to mid-20s, 4 black males that arrived in a dark-colored Dodge Ram pickup truck.
Yeah, so this Thursday, the federal government is going to host an auto theft summit with police, government, and industry officials.
5 former World Junior Hockey champions are expected in court today in London, Ontario, to face sexual assault charges. Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Alex Formanton, Carter Hart, and Michael McLeod, all members of the 2018 World Junior Hockey team, are accused of a group sexual assault on a woman in 2018 at a London hotel. All 5 are expected to plead not guilty. McLeod faces an additional charge of sexual assault for being a party to the offense. Hours after the court case starts, London police are going to hold a news conference at 2 this afternoon outlining their investigation. Now, it was initially closed without charges months after the incident, but reopened 2 years ago. CHCH is going to be in London today. We'll have details at chch.com and tonight on the evening news at 6.
Well, let's head east because the Cape Breton Regional Municipality in Nova Scotia has declared a local state of emergency amidst an 80-centimeter snowfall across the province. The mayor made the announcement in an online video saying the step is necessary in order to keep people just off the roads. Classes are canceled today in several regions including Halifax, Cape Breton, and East Hants. Parts of the province are expected to see an additional 30 to 50 centimeters of snow today.
Premier Doug Ford targeted Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie during his party's policy convention in Niagara Falls over the weekend. The Get It Done conference on Saturday brought together about 1,000 party members to discuss policy. Ford highlighted his government's investments in infrastructure and housing before turning his attention to criticizing Crombie and the former Liberal government.
The Liberals chased away 300,000 jobs. They were an absolute disaster. We know Bonnie is the queen of carbon tax. She was the first one in Ottawa to be preaching, we need a carbon tax. Bonnie has never seen a tax she didn't like. During her time as mayor, she jacked up property taxes and is fighting every day building the 413. She doesn't want to build the 413, doesn't build an infrastructure. Under Bonnie's watch, as the rest of Ontario was growing and thriving, Mississauga's population shrunk for the first time in its history.
Now, Ford highlighted his party's commitment to cost reduction by eliminating road tolls and license plate sticker fees, but his speech did not address the Ontario Greenbelt or the recent Supreme Court ruling permitting the Premier to keep orders to cabinet ministers private. Okay, just before we get to sports, an animal shelter in Norfolk County has just the thing if you think love stinks. For $5, they'll put your ex's first name on a litter box in one of their cat kennels. It's a fundraiser for the Simcoe and District Humane Society. They warn if you get back together before Valentine's Day, there's no going back on the litter commitment. The details are all on the Simcoe Humane Society's Facebook page. Love this.
So you got me what for Valentine's Day? Okay, sports line. Lots of things going on, including on the hard card, as the two teams that we follow closely on sports line, the Raptors and the OKC Thunder, well, they faced off in Oklahoma City with our pal Shai Gilgeous-Alexander helping his team mount a massive comeback.
You're exactly right. He's just at the table. Under a minute remaining. Shai, the bucket. Tied once again.
Yeah, Hamilton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander knocking down that huge three to tie the game in overtime as the Thunder, they were down by as many as 23 in the second half, but mounted a huge comeback to force overtime, then double overtime. They were able to pull out the 135-127 win. Shai did not score 30 points for the first time in 10 games. Toronto held him to 23. He did have 14 assists, though. His Canadian teammate, R.J. Barrett, led the Raps with 23. He returned from injury. Tough loss, though. Raptors right back at it tonight in New Orleans.
Pass ahead goes off of D'Amato. Dozen seconds left. Squirts three. Ritchie trying to find it. Ritchie will come up with it. Gives to Danford in front. They score!
Brantford Bulldogs finished up a busy weekend with 3 games in 3 nights, and it showed as they were hammered in Oshawa by the Generals, 8-3 the final. Follows a win and a loss on Friday and Saturday on home ice, so the Gens went out in front 6-0 before the Dogs made it somewhat respectable. Brantford, they were in Guelph on Friday night to face the Storm.
The overager ushered it to the corner, picked up out front. Robrick scores!
Big crowd on hand at the Meridian Center to watch Ryan Robrick score his first career hat trick as the Ice Dogs. They would take 5 of 6 points over the weekend after winning an OT on Saturday in Peterborough. They picked up a second straight dub, beating North Bay 6-4. So they complete the home and home in North Bay on Thursday night.
Keeping possession now, Eldridge with a feed in there in front. Mashmeyer out. Carpenter scores.
on the ice in Ottawa. Miraculous comeback of the PWHL as New York was down by 3 goals with just over 5 minutes to go in the game. They mounted a comeback to tie the game and force overtime, where Ottawa, who was winless in 3 games in the free hockey, winless again. Alex Carpenter would score the winner. New York shocked Ottawa 4-3 as they sit at the bottom of the PWHL standings. Who's at the top, you ask?
Ahead for Ambrose, who scored the Montreal goal in the first, has Stacey on the opposite side. She puts it in!
That would be Montreal, as Laura Stacey scored the OT winner on a beautiful setup from Aaron Ambrose to lift PWHL Montreal over Boston 2-1 to push ahead of Minnesota into top spots in the league through 9 games. Toronto, coming off a win on Saturday against Minnesota, is in Boston on Wednesday night. Okay, well, this is exciting news for soccer fans and Canadian soccer fans as FIFA announced their match schedule for the upcoming 2026 World Cup. Canada will host 13 games between Toronto and Vancouver of the 104 matches that will be spread out between the 3 North American countries. 48 countries will partake for the first time, which includes Canada. They've already secured their spot, and they will play their first game at BMO Field on Friday, June 12, 2026. Toronto's going to host 6 matches altogether. BC Place and Vancouver are going to host 7, including Canada's 2 other group matches. Mexico City going to host the opening match, while New York's MetLife Stadium, they host the World Cup final.
Yep, here we go. 6:11 is the time. Monday, the 5th of February. We're looking at, yeah, you got to get that February in my head here. We're looking at traffic, first of all. Okay, that's no problem right now. 403 and Waterdown Road. We have no problems on the major routes. It's in town Hamilton where we have that serious collision with a fatality. So that's going to block off the intersection of Main and James. Yep, right downtown. Main and James completely blocked off, and that'll go on pretty much throughout the morning hours, so keep that in mind. MTO traffic cameras will keep our fingers crossed, and yay, it's here. QEW 405, nothing to see. Red Hill Creek still pretty light east of Brand Street, all the way through the Ford plant and into Mississauga at Etobicoke Creek. Yeah, there's not a lot going on. Our temperature has just come up a degree, which is very nice. The sun's not even up yet, but -1 is the temperature at the moment. Just a bit of a light northeasterly breeze, but that still gives us a wind chill of -5 this morning. The skies are mainly cloudy. For school today, the good news is skies are going to clear as the day goes on. So we'll see some sun, some clouds as the day progresses. So clearing skies, light winds, and we should hit 3 degrees for the day today. Now, no problems here in southern Ontario as far as precipitation is concerned. Skies have been clear to partly cloudy to mainly cloudy at the moment, but we will see some clearing as the day goes on. See that? We have a ridge of high pressure that's going to descend across the eastern part of the province and give us some sunshine for today. Actually, sun tomorrow, sun even on Wednesday, so it looks pretty good. So today, temperatures around the area, generally 3 degrees for the Horseshoe, a little bit better for Cayuga and Simcoe at 4, but clouds to start, and then that clearing trend goes on. And that'll continue overnight tonight with clear skies, temperatures -4, 5, and 6, wind chills about -6 generally for the Horseshoe. And then tomorrow, we're looking at a little bit cooler, 2 and 3 degrees for tomorrow. But again, we should have a fair bit of sunshine, just a mix of sun and clouds for the day tomorrow. So as you step out the door, 5th morning of February already, we've got a mostly cloudy sky, temperature right now sitting at -1, wind chill about -6. Long range in a few minutes. And that, Tim.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, let's say a very good morning and a happy start to the week to Emily Vukovic.
Yes, happy Monday after a beautiful sunny weekend. Not gonna lie, guys,
gorgeous.
I was out there, I was like tanning. Yes, this is amazing.
Right,
so
take
much
it in.
warmer. Okay, so Argyle, big movie to hit the box office, bit of a flop.
Who knew it cost that much money to make?
It was like $200 million.
I think it was getting the rights to the story.
Yeah.
You're regretting that now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Whoops.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that. And Joe Rogan, he signs another deal with Spotify. So we'll discuss the details.
Little Grammy talk too, I'm assuming?
Oh,
Big
yes.
night.
We'll be talking about that in the 7 o'clock
Yeah,
hour.
lots of Canadian content at the
Yeah,
Grammys.
good stuff there. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit over at the couch coming up after the break.
The federal government's extending its ban on foreign home purchasing in Canada. Coming up on 6:17 on your Monday morning in overseas trading, Canadian dollar down 10 basis points to 74.14 cents U.S. Gold is down almost $15. Crude has lost 13 cents to $72.15 a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London, but down in Frankfurt and Paris.
Off to Asia we go. Markets are up in Tokyo, down in Hong Kong and Shanghai. North American markets, they wrapped up the trading week last week with TSX down 34, some nice gains on Wall Street. Let's see how they do when the markets open this brand new week on February the 5th.
Well, Canada has extended the ban on foreign nationals and companies from buying residential properties for another 2 years. This is until 2027 now. The ban prohibits non-Canadian citizens or permanent residents, as well as foreign commercial enterprises, from buying residential properties. There are exceptions for people with temporary work permits, refugee claimants, and international students who meet specific criteria. Violators could face a fine of up to $10,000 and be ordered to sell the property. The government sees the ban as part of a broader strategy to address housing affordability challenges.
So a survey from KPMG in Canada found that Canadian companies are not making strong progress on efforts to make workplaces more inclusive and equitable for Black workers. The survey, it showed that over 80% of workers said employers are making improvements, but many people reported that they've experienced some form of racism in the workplace in the past year. The results of the survey also showed that women continue to be less supported in the workplace than men. However, there are areas for optimism, including the 76% of respondents who said that compared with 4 years ago, their company now has a Black person in the executive level manager role or on their board of directors.
Air Canada's first female pilot says she faced a lot of struggles in the early years of her 40-year career, and efforts are needed to encourage more women to get into aviation. Judy Cameron says that's especially true in the cockpit, which remains extremely male-dominated. Many of Air Canada's 410 female pilots out of more than 5,200 see Cameron as an inspiration. She has 23,000 hours of flying, a scholarship, and an Order of Canada membership to her name.
And stay in the air because Boeing has reported another problem with fuselages on its 737 jets that might delay deliveries of about 50 new planes. So Boeing Commercial Airlines CEO Stan Deal says a worker at its supplier discovered misdrilled holes in the fuselage. Both Boeing and Spirit AeroSystems are facing intense scrutiny over the quality of their work after an Alaskan Airlines 737 was forced to make an emergency landing back in January. The panel blew out of the side of the plane shortly after taking off. I can't get over that video of them just kind of looking pretty chill, just like cruising along there.
Yeah.
No, the video doesn't really, you don't really know what's going on there, but anytime I see that, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking a break right now.
Okay.
We're going to be back with Brian, your traffic and your 7-day forecast. Lots of problems in downtown Hamilton.
All right, 6:23 is the time. We're giggling at our MTO traffic cameras here this morning because 1 second they're there, the next second they're gone. So here's one that is there. Okay, here's a look at the QEW at Bronte. Toronto-bound lanes coming towards us on that camera. Sheridan looks good as you go through Mississauga, and even the 403 coming up from the Ford plant here at Dundas Street. But I do want to talk about that problem in town Hamilton, the fatal collision at Main and James. Now, it's not just the intersection of Main and James that is the problem. Main Street, James Street, McNabb, King are all affected by this. Even the McNabb Street bus terminal is closed, so it's going to affect so many people throughout the morning hours. Keep that in mind. All right, let's go to some temperatures that we have at the moment. Hamilton, -1, same for Mississauga. Wind chill right now, about -6 to -7 is what it feels like. Plus side for Grimsby and Toronto, 1 and 2 degrees. So those are our seasonal temperatures, -2 and -10. We've been above that for a while. Those are our sun times for the day today. Gain another 3 minutes of daylight today. And those are our records for today, the 5th of February. For school today, we should be about -2 by the first bell. Temperatures fluctuating a little bit. And we'll have mainly cloudy skies, but 3 for after school. And we should see a bit more sunshine. So clearing as the day goes on. So sunny and 3 today, -4 tonight. A bit of a wind chill, but not by much. Winds will be light. Tomorrow, sunny and 2, sunny and 5 degrees. Beautiful day on Wednesday, and we get some showers pushing in, and that's going to happen on Friday, but Thursday, mainly cloudy skies and 7, and then 6 and 2 as we head into our next February weekend. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Great temperatures for the end of March. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Okay.
That's what it feels like.
If you're wondering how many years you'll have with your canine companion, just take a look at their face.
Researchers looked at health records of nearly 600,000 mostly purebred dogs from more than 150 breeds in Britain. They categorized each breed's overall body size as small, medium, or large, and the head shape as flat-faced, medium proportioned, or long-faced. They found that small breeds lived longer, 12.7 years on average, compared with 11.9 years for larger breeds, which is consistent with prior research. Breeds with flat faces had shorter than average lifespans than dogs with medium and long snouts. And their research also found that female dogs live slightly longer than males.
Oh, Annette, I apologize. I didn't hear anything you said there.
I know. That's okay. Well, look at dog.
Look at all these doggies. Oh, good boys.
There'll be a test later on in the show.
I'm assuming it was a fantastic read, as it always is, Annette. Way to go. Okay.
I did it with disdain as a cat person. No.
We'll see you in a couple minutes on this Monday. A little attitude I saw there.